Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Lauren Delisa Coleman with you again, still inside of the aaiff, Asian American International Film Festival. And I am bringing you a very hot episode of the Inside series that we do like no one else on film.io, really taking you inside of the mind and the process of various filmmakers today. And I'm so happy to be able to have a really very cool filmmaker for us today, whose name is Mian-Mian Liu. Welcome so much to the show. She is the filmmaker behind a very cool film called Mickey on the Road. You know, it's just so great, like this whole virtual kind of world that we all live in, right? So she's actually based in Taiwan normally, but she's in Oregon right now. And so we're kind of doing this virtually from Oregon as the festival is going on here in New York. So there you have it. Mian-Mian, welcome to the Inside series here at film.io first.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hi.
So yes. We always start by asking the filmmaker to give us a synopsis of the film. So if you wouldn't mind, let our viewers know what the general premise is of Mickey on the Road.
Mickey on the Road is a very simple story and start from two Taiwanese, very young, very fierce, kind of street style Taiwanese girl. They travel to China, Guangzhou, south of China, Guangzhou, this big city, to looking for the love they lost. And then one character is Jing Jing. She wanna find her boyfriend who doesn't pick up her phone call. And the other character is Mickey. She want to find her father who's working in China and never come home again. So this is kind of a journey for quest.
I love it. It's so, I don't know, it was very cool to see this film because I think, and this is why it's so important to have a variety of voices in filmmaking. Too often we have this idea of what the Asian kind of teenager or millennial looks like, thinks, behaves. And this is a total departure, from this, which I thought was very cool. You see these girls with edge and with depth and a lot of complexity, just like what really exists, but we don't probably get to see enough of it, right? And I know I had seen someone else refer to this as like a young Taiwanese, like Thelma and Louise. I think that shortchanges it. I mean, it gives you the idea of like this crazy adventure. That's true. But it shortchanges it because I think it is really unique unto its own kind of culture and more. So I'd love for you to tell me how you came to the project and really just kind of a little bit about the journey behind the making of it.
Okay. I think in the past decade, maybe 2 decades, 20 years, the whole world is facing China is rising as a superpower, as a very strong economic power. And I think the whole world is facing this fact. And I think Taiwan is in a very special place. And we're actually at the front line we are part of their rising economic, actually, because in early 90s, there is a first wave from, Taiwanese entrepreneurs and business owners. They go to China, build their factories there, build their business there. So the whole engine kind of, fire up. And so we have a very tight economical relationship with China, but in and also very tight political relationship with China too. And so I think I want to make a movie that address that. And because we're in Taiwan, we have all the freedom. We can have our own voice. And so I think the whole generation, like facing, as a Taiwanese, facing this dramatic change because when I was young, when I was little in school, Chinese people or Chinese businessmen is not exist. What was not exist. And then so I couldn't help and start wonder if so many factory owners shift their business to China, what about their families? So we have a lost father generation Taiwanese kids. Yeah. So that's the origin.
But I love how, though, because at first I was like, well, wait, why are these very cool female characters driven by this quest for men? But that might be the ultimate destination, but they find themselves in that process, right?
Yes.
I'm sure that you kind of set it up that way, right? Tell me a little bit more about your thinking around the characters themselves, because they are very different, but they somehow fit together. One, just so you guys know, not to give too much away, but one is a dancer, kind of stripper-ish type, cool, edgy girl. And then the other is a little bit more tomboy-like, very much attached to a mother who has a lot of issues on her own, emotional issues. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But they fit together somehow, right? Tell me a little bit more about kind of the development of these characters, how they came to be. Yeah,
I think in our reality, you see every day you see the commercial, those female images, sweet, pink, that is one kind of a woman we see every day, right? And also we also kind of see that kind of stereotype, like tomboyish, but in Asia, it's very special. Maybe in America, you can have both, but in Asia, if you dress like a tomboyish and you are cutting your hair short, that is kind of a sign that you are rebellion. You're rebellion of who your role supposed to be. So and when I was in high school, my best friend is like very boyish girl, and I was the long hair sweet kind of one. So that's how I think of I think combined they're very different. They are best friend, right? And I always want to make a body movie that two very different character, but they are women, and they somehow bound together beautifully. And so I think it's kind of cool,
it is.
We show it.
So every filmmaking process has its challenges. What were some of yours in terms of kind of bringing this to the screen? Because there's always some kind of usually crazy backstory or something like that, or something that popped up that was unforeseen. You have a number of different locations, I don't know, but tell us, give us the inside scoop.
Okay. Just like every first-time female filmmaker, you sit in front of those investors and try to tell them I'm very talented. Please give me $1 million to make this film.
Right.
It's crazy enough to start raising money, and then we're very lucky because the Taiwan government has a funding for first-time filmmaker. That's how we have the money to make it. And then during we making it, because our first part of the movie, we shoot in a temple, right? And there is a religious kind of forbidden rules, like moving the holy statue or moving tables around in temple. And my art department's crews, they are all very nervous. They don't want to move the table. They don't want to move the statue. At least we got to have the gods proof first. So what we do is we cast the moon block. In the movie, you see that moon block. I don't know if you remember or not. Like, we toasted the moon block and asked God, can we move your table like inch left or that? So we kind of follow that religiously, to making everything smooth when we're shooting there. And so because everyone believes that. So luckily we don't have any like spooky event happen because we all have God's approval. Okay. And then when we shoot in China, like everyone knows, like their policy is not very fixed. So they kind of change their policy every day. So we shooting without permit on the street. So it feels like you're shooting a documentary. And
wow.
Yeah. And we gotta lie, like, oh, we're just doing TikTok, nothing important. Something like that. Yeah.
Seriously? But wait, how big was the crew though? Because it's more than one person, and that's like unusual even for TikTok, no? So they just believe that?
Yeah, they just very, easy to, I guess it's we were shooting in Guangzhou is different from Beijing, I guess, because it's not capital city.
Right.
So yeah, and we're kind of normal, like independent movie set, like maybe 20 people, 30, But yeah, and then so everyone's very kind of nervous, like watching where the policeman is all the time. Yeah, and that's that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, you had to really do a lot of this guerrilla style, right?
Yes.
Did any of, I guess, like maybe your educational background and obviously your previous experience, this is not your first time, as a filmmaker, did you pull on that? Because I was intrigued to see that you went to school here in New York, actually, right?
Yes.
Before in Taiwan, right?
Yeah, I just like other, so many other filmmakers with the dream, like artists. I have a romantic artist dream. We gotta go to New York, we gotta live there. We gotta see New York, we gotta, be part of it. So, so that was my dream back to 2008. So it's probably 13 years ago. Yeah. So this dream, this movie filmmaking dream has been 13 years. And then we pull out, and then I put together one movie. So,
wow. Yeah. So what was your experience like back at New York Film Academy those many years, which is not really that many, but I mean, was that your first time here in the US, or had you been here before?
Well, I've been there before when I was young, very young, but that I live in Brooklyn, Bushwick, from 2008 to 2011. And then that 3 years is very important to me. It's kind of like, it's true, I think Brooklyn is kind of like my hometown.
Really?
I feel like in hometown,
That's kind of cool. I mean, because, Bushwick is really like, okay, just on the edge of up and coming and really hot. In 2008, it really wasn't. So you were kind of a warrior at that point, Mian-Mian. Like, I mean, you might have to, because I knew a couple of artists who had areas, lofts in that area. And, it wouldn't hurt to like run to those places at night. So how was that for you, being somebody from a completely different country? But it sounds like you loved it.
I love it. I think being as a Taiwanese young woman, you are being told since you're a little girl that you gotta act certain way. Like you cannot put your leg on the chair when you sit, or you gotta always keep your leg closed, because something very precious is between your leg. And you certainly not tattoo your skin, because it's not allowed in a kind of our culture. And when I was in Brooklyn, I feel like people express themselves very freely and on their body too. So I feel like, oh, I was a bad girl in Taiwan, which is not true here. Not true in Brooklyn. I'm totally normal. Just be part of it, So I kind of, I feel a little liberation, a little liberate in New York. So I can totally blame him.
Wow, that's just so interesting to hear. And I mean, I think reflective of the characters in a certain way, even though they don't, come to the US, but they are like learning or getting in touch with more of their true selves, so to speak. But was it crazy then for you to go back to Taiwan at that point and go to, do your MFA there? Because you had experienced all this liberation for 3 years and then you go back or return. What was that like for you, especially as a filmmaker? Because, you're always looking and observing and thinking, but yet you're a person too. So you're experiencing, it might not be cool, but at least you have a lot in your repertoire for later as a filmmaker, right? But what was that like? Were you like even ostracized, like left out even more once you got back?
I think it's totally different environment, like for artists, because I think in Brooklyn, everyone kind of very encouraging, like support. Yeah, we gotta have woman's voice, we gotta have a female filmmaker. It's very important. Goddamn Hollywood, like that. Right. Taiwan is not like that. It's like,
especially not at what was the National University of Arts, in Taiwan. It seems very formal and very, traditional, right? So
I was in the top film school. Well, the only one, and not only one, but top filmmaking school. Yeah. You compete with your peers, directors, and no one gives shit if you're a woman or not. So and it's a very hierarchy kind of environment. So first it's not like, oh, we gotta encouraging young generation, we gotta encouraging young filmmakers. It's not like that. It's just you tell me what you can do first, and then let's see how it goes. So I kind of follow everyone's steps, like you make short films so that you demonstrate your storytelling ability. And then you have a feature script, a very solid feature script, and then you pitch just like everyone else. And I guess I'm just lucky, and someone does feel my idea of Mickey on the Road. So I got the funding to making it. So basically, you gotta prove yourself.
Wow.
Basically like that. Yeah.
So it seems like you've really had to be tough in terms of staying true to yourself and still being a creative.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta be tough. When those male directors kiss asses, you gotta prove yourself. I can kiss asses. You dude, go there, smoke. I can smoke too. That kind of. It's very. I mean, it's very, very harsh. But I kind of, because I have this determination that I want to tell this story, so I can just do anything for my movie. That's my determination back then when I trying to put things together, So.
Yeah, each filmmaker always says, I mean, perseverance and belief is really the thing that carries you through. Is there anything that you might add to that in terms of any tips that you have for either newer filmmakers or current ones who might be, foreign or underrepresented, or just filmmaking in general? Like, what's your main go-to when you're either thinking about, your next film or, in the midst of it?
Aim high. Don't be afraid. Aim high. And you gotta do, all those are very established, famous directors now, they are not different from you. They still need to kiss asses for film, funding, for money to making their film. So you're doing the same thing. Don't be shy, as long as you believe your story and you know what you do, your story, you know what you're going to tell the audience, the value of the story, and then just aim high, don't be like, we just, no, that's not a way.
I love it. Love it. Love it, Mian-Mian. Oh my gosh. You are a crack up though. You're there in Oregon. We talked a little bit offline about that. You, your in-laws are from there. You met your husband in Taiwan, who's originally from Oregon. Yeah. What do you think about it there? Are you going to maybe shoot a film, or is this going to play into what's going to happen, next? Are you getting inspiration there? What do you think?
Definitely. I love Oregon. I love this small town, Eugene, and I'm developing actually my next project is a sci-fi movie idea, because our reality is sci-fi now. Don't you think? Our reality is sci-fi,
Yes, sad but true. Yes. Yeah. I can't believe the next thing that happens. And it's weird that you say that you're going to be doing that in Oregon, because isn't there somewhere, I know I've read about this before, that there's some meteor or something that hit somewhere in Oregon, and now it's like some kind of metaphysical place.
Really?
Look it up. Oh. But maybe not near Eugene, but somewhere within the state. Look it up. Yeah.
Okay, I will. Yeah. Well, I feel like I already absorbed the spiritual, kind of inspiration from Oregon now. So, yeah. Well, it's lucky to be a filmmaker, because you as long as you have your computer, you can you can put your idea on the paper, no problem.
Well, it's so true. I love your fierceness, though. It's just so cool. It just comes right through the screen, and I can see why these first two characters in this film were, I don't think that I wouldn't say they are reflective of you, but maybe slight extensions of parts of you, now that I get to speak with you in real time, because you're just so strong. It's great, but also engaging and entertaining.
Don't mess up with Asian woman, okay? You will get punched. Okay?
That's real.
You never know.
That is real. I think it's so cool to have more of these images. There is a major festival called the Cannes Lion Festival. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, in Cannes every year. It's like the film festival, but for branding, advertising, technology, etc. And so there was a couple of panel discussions by some of the key female executives at the ad agency that handles all the advertising for Samsung. They did some presentations on stage talking about these very issues of, how Asian women are typically portrayed, whereas there's a whole, obviously, spectrum, of them. And so, just kind of how they're pushing for more of that in advertising, to be able to show more strengths, more sides of women in Asia, so that everybody can feel welcomed and have her kind of identity recognized and accepted and acknowledged. So I think this is just the beginning, right?
Yes, we need an Asian version of Wonder Woman.
I love it. Oh my gosh! So look, is Mickey on the Road going to be at any other festivals, by the way? Or do you know yet?
We are still in film festivals, kind of touring, and I think we are going to show in Japan next week. Yeah, okay. So just keep it just follow us on Facebook or IG, you know.
That's great. You got to get the promo out there, Mian-Mian.
Yeah.
Got to get the promo out.
You won't, you click our IG or click our.
Oh yeah, so give that, please. What is it? So it's just Mickey on the Road on Twitter
Yes.
and IG,
Yeah,
spelled out.
yeah.
MICKEY, just like the mouse, you guys. And yeah, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I think if you kind of curious about fierce Asian girl can be like a badass, a kick-ass kind of character, Mickey on the Road, maybe you can like spend time to check it out. Yeah,
I think that is a great note to end on, and it is a feature as well.
Yes.
If I didn't mention that as well, it's not 95 minutes if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
So yes, it is a 95-minute adventure. So yes, definitely. Man, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out there in Oregon to speak with us about your project and to really inspire. And you know what, you guys, rewind if you ever need like inspiration to be a badass, because this woman is it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you again so much. And thank you guys for watching another episode of the Inside series, nowhere else but right here on film.io. I am Lauren Delisa Coleman.